Thank you. In this section we're going to be talking about measuring the leg bands, applying the leg bands and recording in the leg book. Now something has surprised me. I know initially the initial plans was that we were going to use a standard ring chart, similar to what is used in England and in the Netherlands. I now find that we're not going down the path of the chart. Can you explain to us why we're not doing that?
Yeah, it's really quite simple, Jeff. When we looked at the chart, basically it was designed for an overseas bird anyway, so Australia really hasn't got the data at this stage that we can safely and confidently put a chart out there for people that don't wish to measure legs, that we could confidently supply them a ring that wouldn't cause any damage. So basically what we've done is we've gone away from a recommended chart per se. What we're simply asking people to do is to measure the legs of their bird, supply us with all the data, and look, we're not saying down the track later on, once we get enough history we may be able to supply a leg band, but for us to say, Jeff, you've got to put a 10mm leg band on your old English game females, NAPIS is not prepared to do that. So what we're saying is measure the legs of your birds and we'll supply a ring that can fit.
Right, so how difficult is it to measure the legs of a cockbird?
Yeah, pretty simple, pretty simple. Basically a little quick bit of history on measuring legs is we say measure the legs of old birds, cockbirds and hen birds. Simple fact is their legs obviously get bigger as they get older. You've got to remember that we put these things on when they're juveniles, so we've got to have enough room so that when they get older that they can grow into the bird. Jeff, obviously I've got a bird here. He's a modern. I'll just stand up so we can get a good look at it. I've made a huge investment of $6.80 at the local hardware to buy an El Cheapo pair of calipers. Basically what we do is we're measuring, the ring goes on the left leg, so that's the leg we need to measure, but I suggest measure everything. Put the calipers over what we say the widest part of the leg. Now that's sideways. That's you'll find that's that distance, and when you actually turn to go from front to back, you'll find that that's way too small. So what we say is measure the widest part of the shank, which is from front to back. See that, Jess? Mm-hmm. Front to back. You can put that down there just below, above the back toe and below the spur. That's where some people will probably like to wear these rings. So personally, that's where mine will end up, down below the spur. So you simply do that. So that's, Jeff, I'm happy that that's the widest part of the leg. Yeah. So the widest part of the shank. So what we're saying is that's the smallest diameter ring you can put on that bird. We're going to say that that's about 9.5mm. Okay. Yeah. The next part is to measure the widest part of the leg, which is the ball of the foot, and that's the back toe. Push the back toe in. That distance from the top of that toe to the front knuckle joint of that bird will be the widest part. We'll just try and work these things in a bit. Yeah, that's about it there, Jeff. Right. So you can see if I push down on them calipers that's about the widest part of the foot for me. You could probably open it up just a fraction, but that's about where you want it. So you don't want the ring sitting right down over their toe. You see that, Jess, like that? Yeah. Just push that back toe in, and then calipers will just sit down. So that's the widest part of the foot. If you go around to the side, those will just slide straight off, as you can see. So we need to make the widest part, which is there. We take a reading. Jeff, that's 14mm. So somewhere in the middle, between 9.5 and 14. Yep. What we're saying is probably about 2mm. Yeah, leave 2mm, yep. 2mm place. So a B12 ring for this particular modern game male bird will never ever hurt him.
Righto. And so, if possibly now put him back, or I'll look up him.
You can hang on to that, right?
If you can just demonstrate now how we ring a bird.
Obviously I've got a young bird here, a chicken. I don't worry about age. I just sort of, you train yourself to the eye. What I do is simply the left leg, that's the ring, little tiny 6mm plastic band. It's light, it's got round edges on it. Get the bird under your arm so you can control a little bit the chicken. Those 3 toes come together, the back toe just stays loose, numbers up the right way, over the front leading toe, up to the ball of the foot. Take those 3 toes with your fingers and your thumb and just move that ring up over the ball of the foot. It'll just sit there, the back toe, and it'll just slide up over the back toe, like that. Once that's on, that's the perfect size for ring. That will stay there. He will grow into that ring without any problem. It takes about, once you get used to it, you'll identify them quickly in the pen, you'll see them, you'll know how old they need to be or the size they need to be. It's not saying age because they vary in size and age. So if you get used to it, you'll see what size you think is a good size to ring. It takes a couple of seconds and it's done.
So on average, and this is the thing that people need to be aware of too, that different states, different climates, you're going to find different growth speeds, but on an average you're looking somewhere between 6 and 8 weeks of age, is that right?
That's right, somewhere around about there. As I said, this little fella here, it's quite good. It's a nice snug fit over the ball of the foot. If you put it on too loose it'll fall off. If you leave him a bit longer he won't go on. So you just pick that probably a couple of week time frame. And as I said, that's very unintrusive. That just slides up over the back toe, rings on, job done.
So do I need to ring every bird in my yard?
No, definitely not. As we said before, Jeff, this is completely optional. It's voluntary. If you want to ring your birds, go ahead. If you want to ring them all, fine. If you only want to ring half of them, we're happy with that. Yeah. That way you can leave half so you can make your own comparisons. Or if you're a bit worried about going to a show and they're a little bit up in the air about rings at this particular time, ring half your birds. Yeah. Just to make your own. So you've got rings on your birds to make your own comparisons.
Personally, I'm ringing every single bird. I've missed a couple because of one thing or other, but you know, personally, I can't. I'm happy to ring every bird, and if I can't show a show, well, that's too bad. I just can't show. That probably brings to an end the section on ringing. Thank you for your attention.